North Korea is sending its highest-ranking official in years to South Korea amid the diplomatic harmony sparked by the Winter Olympics. The North's ceremonial head of state is to lead a 22-member delegation to the south, starting this Friday. Hoping to extend the ongoing Olympic truce to a diplomatic thaw, the top nuclear envoys of South Korea and the US are meeting in Seoul to come up with ways to resume talks on the North Korean nuclear issue. Plus, 2 people have been killed and scores injured in the US state of South Carolina after an Amtrak passenger train collided with a parked freight train. Our top story this morning, officials in Seoul have confirmed that North Korea's ceremonial leader, Yong-nam, will travel to South Korea this week, leading the North's high-level delegation to the PyeongChang Winter Olympics here in South Korea. For more on his visit and the regime's possible reasons for picking him, Lee Jae-yong reports.
From U.S. Vice President Mike Pence to German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier, to Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, the 2018 PyeongChang Winter Games will be attended by a number of key government delegates from around the world. As for North Korea, South Korean officials have confirmed that Yong-nam, the president of the Presidium of the Supreme People's Assembly, will visit the South from February 9th to the 11th, leading the first highest-level official delegation to South Korea in 4 years. The North stated the delegation will also include 3 other officials and 18 support staff, without providing further details. Some believe the team will include North Korean officials blacklisted under international and standalone sanctions, including North Korea's second-in-command Choi Ryong-hae and Choi Hee, the deputy director of the Workers' Party of Korea Propaganda and Agitation Department. No further details were given on whether Yong-nam plans to attend Friday's opening ceremony in PyeongChang. However, if he does, that would put him in the company of U.S. Vice President Mike Pence amid high tension between the 2 countries over the North's nuclear and missile ambitions. However, despite all this, experts believe with the latest decision, North Korea is attempting to break out of its diplomatic isolation and have him join other global leaders at the Winter Games. South Korea's presidential office welcomed the decision, calling it a reflection of North Korea's willingness to improve inter-Korean ties and help make the PyeongChang Winter Games a success. While Yong-nam has met with former South Korean Presidents Kim Dae-jung and Roh Moo-hyun in Pyongyang in 2000 and 2007, this trip will be his first to the South, as many wonder if he will bring with him any warm messages from North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Lee Jae-yong, Arirang News.
The top nuclear envoys of South Korea and the United States will meet in Seoul very soon to negotiate ways to resume talks over the North Korean nuclear issue. The foreign ministry here in Seoul says South Korea's top nuclear envoy Lee Jae-yong and his US counterpart Joseph Yoon will be meeting for the second time since their first get-together in Washington in mid-January. The 2 envoys are expected to share their views on North Korea's participation at the PyeongChang Winter Olympics, developments on dialogue between the 2 Koreas and North Korea's upcoming military parade. Eyes are on what the US envoy will say regarding the possibility of an interaction between US Vice President Mike Pence and North Korea's ceremonial head of state Kim Yong-nam, who will visit the South, as we just heard, for the Olympics. Yoon recently said he wants to hold an open dialogue with North Korea that could lead toward denuclearization. And another top North Korean official is in South Korea for the 132nd International Olympic Committee session, set to take place before and during the PyeongChang Winter Games. Arriving in the South on Sunday, Jang Eun, who is North Korea's representative to the IOC, expressed his hope for a successful PyeongChang Winter Olympics Jang heads to Gangneung, the sub-host city of the PyeongChang Games today, where he will attend the IOC session there, an event which will also be attended by President Moon Jae-in. Dodging questions about political issues, Jang said sports exchanges between the two sides can be revitalized when political circumstances improve, and said the PyeongChang Games have provided good momentum between the two. An appeals court will hand down its verdict today on Samsung Electronics Vice Chairman Lee Jae-yong, who was found guilty by a lower court of offering kickbacks to jailed former President Park Geun-hye and her close friend Choi Soon-sil. The billionaire heir apparent of Korea's biggest conglomerate had been sentenced to 5 years in prison in late August for giving around $8 million to the former president and chair in return for government backing of a merger of two Samsung business units, a process deemed vital for his leadership succession. He was indicted in February of last year on 5 charges, including bribery, embezzlement and concealment of illegal proceeds, and has been in detention ever since. Today's verdict will not only impact him, but is also expected to affect the ruling on former President Park. Now, after a 3-month trial period of the so-called well-dying law, or halting life-sustaining treatments for patients who want to end their lives naturally and on their own terms, the government has started to implement the law on a permanent basis. Our Park Hee-jun with the details.
Beginning February 4th, the so-called well-dying law goes into effect, under which terminally ill patients can choose to die with dignity by refusing artificial life-prolonging treatments. Once a patient is determined to have no chance of recovery by at least 2 physicians, he or she can choose to end their life by refusing 4 major life-sustaining treatments, namely CPR, anti-cancer drugs, hemodialysis, or respirators. However, they cannot refuse treatment for pain relief or supply of nutrition, oxygen, and water. The law takes full effect after a 3-month trial run, during which over 9,000 applicants signed in advance to forego artificial life-extending treatments when they become incurably ill. 107 terminally ill patients also signed up, with 54 of them actually refusing treatment altogether. Korean society has long demanded for a law that prevents the meaningless extension of life. The public, especially patients, are welcoming the well-dying law not only to prevent becoming a burden to family, but also to die a peaceful death.
Many people decided to sign up after witnessing how others went through painful deaths at the intensive care unit. They are very welcoming of the law as it spares them from going through such agony and allows them to die with dignity.
But the system is far from perfect, with some areas requiring government intervention.
Hospitals need to establish ethics commissions in order to issue the documents, but small hospitals lack the resources to do so. They require human resources and cost support from the government to entrust the job to larger hospitals or to form a joint commission among several hospitals.
Experts also say that doctors need to be properly trained on how to deliver the truth to patients who have no chances of recovery. Only when patients are fully aware of their condition can they decide for themselves whether to extend medical treatment. The well-dying law focuses on an individual's right to choose how to end his or her life when the time comes, in a manner that minimizes unnecessary pain on themselves and their loved ones. Park Hee-jun, Arirang News.
Now let's turn to the latest on the female prosecutor who has ignited the global Me Too movement here in South Korea. The female prosecutor, who recently made shocking revelations on cable TV about being sexually harassed by her then senior, has given testimony to the special investigation team that is looking into the case. Park So-yeon with the details.
While the Me Too campaign has gained worldwide attention, the movement was relatively quiet in the socially conservative South Korea. That was until female prosecutor Seo Ji-hyun came forward with her own story of sexual harassment. The prosecutor's revelation appears to have sparked the movement in Korea, where sexual harassment in the workplace is prevalent but often ignored. As a result of her explosive claims, the Supreme Public Prosecutor's Office recently formed a special inspection team to look into sexual assault allegations in the workplace. A special investigation team on Sunday heard testimony from Seo for a period lasting over 9 hours. Seo was appearing for the first time since she claimed in a media interview that former senior prosecutor An Tae-geun publicly groped her at a funeral in 2010. The prosecutor said she testified honestly and hopes her case brings an end to sexual harassment in the workplace.
My testimony was completely truthful. I hope my case will encourage other victims to come forward freely without fear and prevent future similar cases from happening again.
The special investigation team confirmed they have found specific proof that the incidents that occurred at the October 2010 funeral were true. The team heard detailed testimony that the then chief of the Justice Ministry's Criminal Affairs Bureau tried to cover up the case, and Seo was unfairly transferred to an unwanted post in the regional office in 2015. An has said that he apologizes for things that may have happened, but he does not remember because he was intoxicated at the time and the incident occurred a long time ago. He denied he was involved in Seo's appointment to other posts as well as covering up the case. Seo recently appeared on Korean television and said it took her 8 years to realize what happened was not her fault, and she went on TV to tell other victims that it's not their fault. Watchers are hopeful that Seo's courageous act will inspire other women in Korea to stand up and bring about slow but powerful changes in workplaces across the country. Park So-yeon, Arirang News.
Shifting gears now, pointy-eared and short-haired Jindo dogs are considered a symbol of Korea. And tracing back the history of the breed, a team of local researchers say they have found the Jindo's genetic roots, and they're pretty interesting. Our Park Se-young with more.
With a strong jaw and stocky build, Korean Jindo dogs are brave and loyal to their owners. The breed, which originated on Jindo Island, is also extremely smart and capable of learning even complicated commands quickly. The Dongyeong dog, indigenous to Gyeongju, Gyeongsangbuk-do province, looks similar to Jindos, but with a short or no tail. Korean canine breeds were long said to have Chinese or Japanese roots, but researchers have proved that claim to be false. According to the Rural Development Administration's DNA analysis of nearly 2,300 dogs belonging to 33 different breeds, the three iconic Korean breeds, Jindo, Dongyeong, and Pungsan, all share the wolf and coyote as common ancestors. They were found to have more wild genes than huskies and malamutes, commonly described as wolf dogs. The Pungsan breed resembled wolves the most, while the Jindo possessed the fewest similarities of the three. The researchers used a specially designed chip that records the genetic data of each dog to reveal the genetic identity of Korean breeds for the first time.
Hopefully, sharing our findings with organizations like the FCI will make our country's dogs internationally recognized.
In order to preserve Korea's native dogs, the RDA highlighted the need to reverse the trend of a dwindling population of Pungsan and Dongyeong dogs. Park Se-young, Arirang News.
Now for a look at the stories making headlines around the world, and we start with a name dispute in Greece. Tens of thousands of Greeks have marched in Athens to protest the government's potential compromise in a long-standing dispute with neighbour Macedonia over its official name. For more on this and other news, let's turn, as we always do, to our Noah Aram. So Aram, what exactly is all this unrest about?
Well, Mark, Greeks are opposed to the possibility of the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia shortening their official name to just Macedonia. That is because Greece has its own region called Macedonia and argues that its neighbours' use of the name, along with contentious articles in its constitution, imply territorial claims over Greek land. It also evokes strong emotions among Greeks who consider Macedonia, which is the ancient kingdom ruled by Alexander the Great, to be an integral part of their homeland and heritage. Demonstrators waved blue and white Greek flags across Athens on Sunday in what locals said was the largest gathering in decades.
I cannot understand why this problem has become a problem now and for what reason it must be resolved now, since it should have been resolved many years ago. They have sold us out and now the people have risen up. We're all out on the streets for this.
I think it's not fair for some foreigners to take something that is ours without having any connection to it. I will support this until the end. Macedonia is Greek.
Both governments have stepped up negotiations mediated by the United Nations to settle the dispute. The Greek government has proposed a compound name with a geographical qualifier such as North Macedonia. But the ex-Yugoslav Republic says its people can be traced back to the ancient kingdom of Macedon and therefore insisting that Macedonia on its own is the logical option. Macedonia wants the decades-old name row to end so that it has a chance to join NATO or the European Union. 2 people have been killed in the United States, in the U.S. state of South Carolina as an Amtrak passenger train collided with a parked freight train in the early hours of Sunday morning. It was the 3rd deadly wreck involving Amtrak in less than 2 months. At least 116 people were also said to have been injured, and the 2 killed were an engineer and a conductor. The Silver Star was en route from New York to Miami with nearly 150 people aboard when it struck a CSX train carrying automobiles at an estimated 85 kilometers an hour. Investigators will try to find out how the Amtrak train ended up on the side track and if it was misdirected. At least 1 person has died and several others injured after Moscow experienced its heaviest day of snowfall since records began. 43 centimeters had blanketed the Russian capital by Sunday morning, which Russia's meteorological service says is more than half of the average monthly snowfall in the space of just a day. Officials say the casualties came from a falling tree that hit an electric power line. The heavy snow, accompanied by freezing rain, has also cut power to thousands of people and has led to dozens of flights being delayed or cancelled.
PyeongChang in Gangwon-do Province is the perfect location for winter sports with its high altitude and freezing temperatures. There are also many temples with long histories where visitors can experience a monastic lifestyle. It's through the Temple Stay program. This is Odaesan Mountain in PyeongChang, Gangwon-do Province. In the middle of the forested valley, we see a temple. It's Woljeongsa Temple. The snow presents breathtaking scenery. Every corner of the temple preserves its history, dating back as far as 1,000 years, and this temple also runs its own Temple Stay program.
Temple Stay allows participants to learn more about Korean Buddhism and its culture.
A total of 5 temples in Gangwon-do Province are said to run their Temple Stay programs for foreign visitors during the Olympics, and Woljeongsa Temple is one of them.
Participants can have a conversation with monks over a cup of tea, make a Buddhist rosary of 108 beads, and meditate along the fir tree path and Sonjekgil Trail during their stay. We try to offer a good mix of Buddhist cultural activities and meditation time.
At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, visitors arrive at the temple one by one. Then what brings people to the temple and the Temple Stay program? Tosca and Chong are a married couple, and Tosca was the one who decided to take part in this Temple Stay program. She's completely mesmerized by the natural beauty of PyeongChang and the temple.
My husband and I were getting tired of the air in Seoul, so we decided to come to the mountains. And it's close to the ski resort. And mountain temples in Korea are absolutely amazing.
People come to this temple for their own reasons, and they first learn how to bow to Buddha.
이 상태 무릎 내리시고 이마 그리고 순 이마 내리시고 내리고 나서 내 손을 뒤지면서
Bowing or lowering the body is one of the most basic Buddhist principles. At 5:30 p.m., everyone at this temple has dinner. Temple cuisine prohibits any fish and meat products, not to mention artificial additives. Therefore, it tastes very clean and healthy. More importantly, eating is part of practicing discipline and self-control in Buddhism. Mendicancy is a very important practice in Buddhism. It refers to the act of begging alms and donations to survive, and monks should be thankful for whatever they are given. With those principles in mind, the participants take their portions on their plates, feeling grateful for the food they are given.
Before coming to the temple, I took for granted the food I ate. However, now I'm grateful for everything.
I've learned a little bit about it, so I know that you don't ever leave any food behind, and that it's very shameful to leave food on your plate. So now, when I'm at the temple, I pick every last grain of rice and make sure to eat.
When the winter sun falls behind the mountain, the sound of a drum resonates, lending peace to all living creatures. Now it's time to get rid of the anguish in the heart. The participants perform 108 prostrations, repent, and roll the beads. The number refers to 108 sufferings we experience as human beings. However, it's never easy for ordinary practitioners, not even for monks, to be honest. However, they can experience a moment of enlightenment when they overcome the pain.
Our marriage is a spiritual path, so when we have difficulties, to remember that we are each other and we're not fundamentally separate.
At 4 o'clock at the break of dawn, a bell rings to announce Yebol. Yebol refers to a Buddhist ceremonial service to praise Buddha, and all the participants of the temple's day program must be present. Regardless of religious belief, they show their genuine respect for Buddha and his teachings.
I woke up before dawn to attend the morning ceremony and could feel that the monks' reciting of Buddhist scriptures was cleansing my soul.
This time, the participants are headed for a walk in the forest. Walking down the snowy mountain in silence, they're connecting with nature and their inner spirits. 2 days at this temple have been full of unique moments. How did the participants enjoy their time here?
I enjoyed this unique experience, and the snow definitely made it more special. Some parts of the program were tough, but I'll never be able to forget this experience.
I learned so much from my 2-day stay at this temple. I'd love to come back here again in the future.
Away from hectic daily life, temple stay offers the chance to discover one's true self in the most peaceful way. How about grabbing the opportunity to participate in this unique experience after the PyeongChang 2018 Olympics?
Good morning. It's another bone-chilling day today, while a winter storm will continue to pound Jeollado regions and Gwangju, Jeju, and the easternmost islands of Dokdo and Ulleungdo with heavy snow alerts being issued. And as for this afternoon's daily highs, Seoul will only get up to -6 degrees Celsius. Daegu and Gwangju will make it to -1 degree. Now, this cold snap will be with us until Wednesday, and we'll see temperature readings below the seasonal averages for another 10 days or so. And as for the weather outlook in PyeongChang, cold and sunny weather conditions will be featured, but afternoon highs will ease a bit just in time for the Olympics. With that, let's take a look at the international weather for viewers around the world. Now, Ulleungdo received more than 50 centimeters of snowstorm so far, while many flights in and out of Jeju were delayed and canceled on Sunday due to heavy snowfall. So check your flight schedules again today. Meanwhile, most of North Korea will have colder highs like the South. And as for the rest of Asia, Beijing will also have icy cold temperatures under sunny skies, so dress warmly. Meanwhile, major cities in Australia will be under plenty of sunshine with warm highs. Heading to North America, light snow will continue to fall into Monday in the Chicago area. Be careful, roads are slippery as the mercury dropped. As for South America, Bogota and Rio de Janeiro will be rainy along with cooler highs. And taking you to Europe, the heaviest snowfall on record slammed Moscow on Sunday with numbers of casualties. And more snowfall is in store for Monday. And lastly, to Africa, major cities on the map will enjoy plenty of sunshine. And that's all the weather update for now.
And that's where we're going to leave the news for now as well. Our next bulletin is coming up at noon Korea time in around an hour and a half from now. So until then, goodbye.
A village full of exciting sports. It's PyeongChang. Shall we take a look inside the ice kingdom of sports? Becoming one with the ice. Down we go through the ice track. Wow, how thrilling the speed on ice. It's the Iron Man of winter sports, sliding sports. Where passion meets the world, PyeongChang, Arirang.
경기도 불객이공 우처사지요 기소부령 물시여인 행유부득 반구적이 천사문성공 회헌 안성택 모기 존시인사도
Making it to the Forbes 30 Under 30 list and the 100 people who will lead Korea in 10 years, the artist has established her own artistic realm with a beautiful mix of tradition and modernity. How did coyness inspire her artistry, and how does she define the term?
내숭 이야기에는 K-팝이 사랑하는 문화가 담겨 있다라고 보시면 될 것 같아요. 그래서 많은 분들이 전반적으로 한국이란 나라를 이해하고 싶으실 때 내숭 이야기를 딱 들여다보시면 더 잘 이해되고 재미있게 접근하실 수 있을 거라고 꼭 전하고 싶습니다.
Let's explore her one-of-a-kind artistry on today's Heart to Heart. 매주 새로운 출연자와 가슴 뛰는 이야기를 나누는 Heart to Heart입니다. Welcome to Heart to Heart. 자, 오늘은 한복을 주제로 굉장히 파격적인 그림을 그리는 한국 화가 김현정 씨를 모셨습니다. 안녕하세요.
네, 안녕하세요.
네, 지금 방송을 보고 계신 분들께 간단한 인사 부탁드립니다.
네, 안녕하세요. 저는 한국화의 아이돌이라는 별명을 갖고 있는 한국화가 김현정입니다. 저는 내숭이라는 주제로 그림을 그리고 있고요. 그 그림 속에는 한복을 입은 여인이 마치 풍속화처럼 21세기의 풍속화가 담겨 있는 그런 그림입니다.
네, 자, 반갑습니다. 그리고 이렇게 시간 내주셔서 감사드리고요. 오늘 정말 예쁘게 한복을 입고 나오셨는데, 자, 이제 내숭에 대해서 말씀을 주셨죠. 내숭과 또 여러 다른 작업들 그리고 활동하는 것에 대한 이야기는 조금 이따가 할 텐데, 먼저 지난해 가수 제시카 그리고 축구 선수 손흥민 씨와 함께 포브스에서 아시아에서 영향력 있는 30세 이하 30인으로 선정이 되셨어요. 그 평단과 언론의 관심을 지금 한 몸에 다 받고 계시는데, 그 선정 기준이라고 해야 될까요? 그게 어떻게 되나요?
저도 실은 이제 나중에 이메일로 선정이
네.
됐다고 통보를 받은 거여서요. 이제 나중에 여쭤봤더니 아시아에서 1차적으로 한 1000여 명 정도의 후보를 받고요.
네.
그러고 그 다음에 이제 내부적으로 투표를 하시는 것 같았어요. 그래서 저는 이제 뭐 간단한 질문지 정도 받아서 답변을 하는 정도로 우선은 선정된 걸 알았고요.
네네.
선정되고 나서 되게 깜짝 놀랐어요. 내가 이런 그림을 그리고 있는데 과연 이런 걸 주셔서 너무 감사하다라는 생각이 들기도 했고,
네.
아마도 제가 활동하는 영역이라던가 이런 거에 많은 높이 쳐주신 것 같아요. 왜냐하면 미술이라는 게 아무래도 한국에서는 여성들이 굉장히 여성 학생들이 많은 거에 비해서 또 평단에서는 남자 화가들이 많이 주목받는 곳이기 때문에